Hi guys, welcome to episode 3 of Virgo Vibes Podcast. It is Tuesday, November 12th, and I have off today. It's very quiet. It's been a chill day. My mind is all over the place, and I'm a bit anxious, and I'm a bit mad at certain things. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time for a podcast. So, my last one was about the importance of taking a mental health day. And I was looking at my list of podcast ideas, which I have the paper with me now. And one of my ideas was self-care and putting yourself first and avoiding burnout. And I was like, oh, did my mental health podcast touch on that or not? And I just listened back to it and I realized it was very brief, and I was just kind of saying about my experience taking mental health day since I haven't really done that. And I just want to expand on that and then also add in a whole discussion about the concept of free time and how it's just like how I don't think it exists anymore, and at least in my life, at least how I view my life and my duties. So putting yourself first and avoiding burnout, kind of related to like time management, which I put up in a college advice video, which was saying like how to balance everything and time and school and work and friends. So oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I did not mean for my computer to be on loud. But anyway, time management is a form of like, self-care, putting yourself first, avoiding burnout. So like basically that mental health day was a whole day dedicated to self-care and putting myself first. And it's important to not only take mental health days when you need them, but even instead of that, taking a step back, every day you should incorporate something in your day, whether it's like 30 minutes, maybe it's 2 hours, because personally, I think every single person's different. I'm high maintenance in the fact of like, I need my time. I need my me time. I need my alone time. I need my routines. I need certain things to be done in a certain way. So if I'm like out and about all day, or if I'm with people all day, like I need time when I get back to relax. Like I might need the whole day the next day to myself. So it's important to know for you what that means every day. How much time do you need for yourself, for your own self-care, to just have you in a good mental state? And if you have days and days in a row where you aren't doing that, it'll lead you to a day where you just need to be like, all right, screw it, I need this day for myself, which is that mental health day that I took. But it's probably more efficient to do a few minutes to a few hours a day of self-care so that you're on a consistent, good schedule, instead of like letting stress build up and then boom, like you're stressed and need to just like check out for a day, which I guess is like burnout in a way. And the thing that I'm talking about, free time, that I'm going to bring in now, kind of relates to burnout. So I was talking to my sister and some friends because I am a junior. I do graduate next fall, so I graduate a semester early, a year and a month and a half-ish, I graduate. So it's not too much time. I don't have any internships under my belt. I don't have any like media internships. I have like my acting resume and things I've done with that, but nothing too crazy, I would say. I mean, maybe I'm being humble, but I don't have anything solid, And I was just talking to my sister on the phone because she has been done with school for about 6 months now. She's in an interesting place, trying to figure out like what to do, trying to get a job, trying to figure that out. And I'm doing a story in one of my classes about graduation and being prepared for post-grad life and how some people are prepared and some people aren't. And I feel like internships are a type of thing that like can help you feel prepared. And if you don't have them, you might feel a little lost. But at the same time, in my current situation, I don't have a serious part-time job. I was doing some acting gigs. I do babysitting sometimes. I do paid audience member and stuff like that. But I don't have anything super solid. And I am realizing this semester is so difficult that I don't even have the time to not even just have like a real part-time job that's consistent hours a week. Like it's hard for me to even accept little per diem gigs at this point. That's how intense and crazy my life has been this semester due to my classes and workload, which is just insane. But it could also be I am taking like more time to myself this semester and more self-care than ever before, because I feel like I didn't have self-care for a while, and I guess I'm like catching up on those missed years. But essentially this semester I'm like a very, I don't want to say skewed, but like the percentage of school and self-care is very high, and the percent of work and friends and I guess other stuff is a lot lower. So that's an interesting standpoint. And someone asked me the other day, what do you do in your free time? This was literally yesterday in class. And I looked at him and I said, I don't have free time. People who have free time, I don't understand it. I go to school, I do my homework, and I go to sleep, and I wake up the next day, and I do the same thing over again. In all of my quote-unquote free time, I put something in there that's like, okay, I need to do homework, or I need to do XYZ, whatever. When I shower, when I'm sleeping, like I told him, my form of entertainment is watching YouTube videos. I'll watch YouTube videos before bed, and it's not like, oh, I have free time, let me watch YouTube videos. I literally tell myself, okay, I have to schedule in an hour before I go to sleep so that I have time to watch YouTube videos. So it's like, I don't have free time because my quote unquote free time, it's kind of already like scheduled into my day in a way. Like I force myself to put it there. So I never have a chunk of time in a day. And I was just talking to my sister about this. I never have a chunk of time in my day where I'm like, oh, I wonder what I'm going to do tonight. I wonder what I'm going to do until, 8 p.m. Like, no, I always have a to-do. I always have something to do. Always, always. If I rarely do have free time, then I usually just get ahead. Like, I'll look at what I should do the next day, or maybe I'll just get more sleep or whatever. Or maybe I'll, like, swing by a friend's place and hang out. But that's not necessarily free time. Like, free time, when I see friends during free time, that's, like, the only time I see my friends. So seeing friends is like free time, I guess, which is like not good because then that means most of the time I'm not being social. So that's kind of like a weird aspect. But I was talking to my sister because she is trying to figure out her life. I am trying to think ahead because she is going to apply to some places in New York City, and we were hoping we could maybe get an apartment together, which if we want it in a nice area, it's going to cost a lot of money. And I was thinking ahead, and I was like, okay, how do I get money? How do I do this? Okay, graduation's coming up. My dad was talking to me about, do you have any internships? Are you going to look into that? And I was just like, oh my God, because every day I have to do something for school. I feel like my current week and each day, every day of the week, I'm just thinking about what do I have to do to get by? What do I have to do to finish class and get to class on time and have all of my homework done? It's hard to think about the future. But in order to have something lined up for when you graduate, it requires a lot of preparation and a lot of planning. So if I want an internship next summer, for example, I would need to start applying now. Like some deadlines, I'm sure, for high prestigious internships have already passed. Even ones that are due this month, I can't do. I already know my workload's too hectic. So I'm going to take winter break to apply to internships. But that being said, it's very difficult to plan ahead. Like I know if I were to have an apartment with my sister next year for like a year lease, I need to work really, really hard starting winter break and through the summer and next fall in order to make the money to be able to pay for that. But how do I make that money? How do I book those jobs or internships? That means I have to start doing the applications. So I feel like we are expected to have things waiting for us when we graduate. Meanwhile, our current workload in college, in our undergraduate studies, is already severely high and extremely high and intense. So how are we expected not only to excel at what we're currently doing in school and also do extracurriculars or clubs, which I don't do. I consider my like YouTube channel kind of my extracurricular, my vegan Tumblr, I guess. When I do acting stuff, that's not really extracurriculars. That's just me trying to get ahead in my career, I guess, my acting career. So I don't really have time for extracurriculars. I'm going to attempt to do that next semester. Maybe, I don't know. But we're expected to do well in school. We're expected to have extracurriculars. Most of us at CUNYs have to have jobs, part-time jobs. A lot of people work like 20 plus hours a week. 20 is like an average. I know people who work like 30 hours a week part-time, which is insane. Like, how do they have lives, right? Like, and that brings in the idea of burnout. So many people, we're expected to do so much currently, and we're also expected to have something waiting for us, which requires time, effort, and planning that we need to put in now. So I don't have a part-time job, and I don't do extracurriculars, and yet I still find myself just barely getting by with school. And I am trying my best to put so much self-care in so that I don't get stressed, but like still this balance between sleep and school and getting homework done, but then also, wanting to do fun stuff, whether it's see friends or, try vegan food or XYZ. It's still like, how am I barely doing it and I don't have a part-time job or extracurriculars or an internship? So my mind is just blown right now because my sister, when I was talking to her about just her senior year and, stuff like that, I was asking her for my story, what advice would you have for current juniors or seniors? And she said, get at least 2 internships under your belt, which a lot of people are like discussing. Okay, are unpaid internships, like, should they be a thing? This is kind of like unpaid labor, free labor. Sorry for the background noise. That's some doors slamming in my dormitory hall. But it's just so crazy what's expected of us for the future, what's expected to have, what we should have already had, what's expected currently. So like, I can do my best at what is expected currently, and when given enough time, I can prepare for the future. But I feel very like, oh my gosh, I need to dedicate my 4 or 5 weeks during winter break to not only like self-care and taking a break from school, but applying to a bunch of internships and stuff like that. So like, I know I'm not necessarily burned out right now this semester because I've avoided it by putting myself first and focusing on self-care, which I did last semester. Which I spoke about in my last podcast. And I've been doing that so much this semester, self-care, putting myself first, as well as this summer. I did a summer glow up video if you guys want to check it out. But anyway, it's just crazy because, okay, yeah, I've done so much self-care this summer, this semester. I'm doing well in school. I'm excelling, whatever. However, I don't have a part-time job. I don't have super consistent income. I have savings and like I planned for my spending, but I don't have super free spending money right now, which if I had a part-time job, I would, but if I had a part-time job, it would create stresses on schoolwork and college. Then it's like, okay, next semester, I'm like, okay, I graduate soon. I have 2 semesters and then I graduate. So I'm starting to think about post-graduation. So I'm like, okay, next semester, I'm like, okay, I think I need to do it all next semester, right? I need to probably get a part-time job unless I find some sort of internship that's paid. So it's kind of like one or the other. You either get a part-time job or you get a paid internship. I personally wouldn't do an unpaid internship unless it was like light amount of hours in a week and it would maybe give me credit. It would have to be beneficial to me in some way, but I do need monetary income, and a lot of college students need monetary income during college. So I don't know if I would accept an unpaid internship. However, if I do a part-time job or a part-time paid internship, then okay, that's already added 16 to 20 hours a week to my regular school schedule. So that's an extra amount of time. Then I have to think about the extracurriculars that I want to start doing next semester, which would be working, at some club, 1 or 2 or 3, whatever, because I'm trying to build my resume for future internships. If I don't get an internship next semester or anything like that, I need to get a part-time job that I either just like or relates to my field, or have an extracurricular club activity, whatever, that looks good on a resume and builds skills for myself. So I'm already like pre-stressing for next semester because I think there is like a time in everyone's life where we do kind of have to go on overdrive. Like hard work is important And there are times when you really, really, really want something and something's very valuable and prestigious, such as a really good paid internship or landing a job for the summer after you graduate. We do need to put in hard work. However, how many semesters can our body sustain is kind of what I'm getting at. Like, I know how to avoid burnout, and I did it this semester and this past summer, but already thinking ahead to next semester, I'm worried for myself. Like, if I don't, I would basically have to cut off all socialization, pretty much, and I'd have to start probably skimming readings and doing, my grades honestly would probably drop. I would have to pre-queue videos for my channel. Or they would just be shorter and lower quality, and there's sacrifices and everything, but I still wouldn't want to lower my self-care of okay, I like, showering. I like taking my time showering every day, whether that's 30 minutes or so, and I want to, take my time in the morning getting ready. I don't want to feel rushed to class, and maybe I want to get my coffee in the morning and have breakfast before class starts, and I want to get my 8 hours of sleep. Okay, but I still have, a 15 credit course load. I still have classes to do. I'm going to add in potential part-time job. I'm going to add in potential extracurriculars, and then I still want to be doing my YouTube channel and my vegan Tumblr, and I want to build up my resume for acting. However, that could be very difficult as well. So I just think there's too much pressure on us these days in college to be doing everything, and we have to do everything 100,010%. And I don't think that's reasonable. I think either we need to be getting paid internships so that we don't have to also have a part-time job. I think we need to be able to get credit for our internships, class credit. I think maybe even the amount of credits needed to graduate needs to be a little less. I think 4 years is a good amount, but why 15 credits? 15 credits is kind of a lot. Why not 12 each semester if we're also trying to do these internships or part-time jobs and stuff, and extracurriculars on top of that? Or we should be given a 3-credit class that's dedicated to building our skills to sharpen our resume and build our, writing skills, getting internships, and just workshops that teach us how to actually live life. My sister and I were talking about this yesterday. How do you feel prepared to enter post-grad life if we're just taught, okay, we have to take this class for our core requirement. Okay, we have to take this language requirement. All right, these are required for our major. Okay, you can have some electives. Okay, but what do I do after I graduate? How do I move out? How do people move out? How do you get a job? How do you get an internship? How do you look good? How do you dress? All these things that we are getting more awareness, and there are more workshops available to us and being offered at different colleges. However, how do we have the time to even attend those with our current workload and our classes and our homework and just everything in what's required of us? So essentially what I'm getting at is when you don't have a job or you don't have extracurriculars and stuff like that, self-care, putting yourself first, avoiding burnout is pretty simple. Go to school, get your homework done, go to sleep, do your self-care, have your fun, have your little bits of fun. But when you start bringing in, okay, how do we build our resume and get ready for the future, that's when burnout becomes nearly inevitable, just due to the way our college is already structured. And winter break for me is almost the only opportunity I feel like I have of okay, I can get my life together, I can apply, I can, maybe you work and you build up some money during that time. But then it's is it really a break, or is it just an opportunity to catch up? And I think that is a very annoying kind of thing. And free time to me doesn't exist. I'm never bored because there's always something to do. I never have free time because there's always something to do. And it's just very sad, honestly. And preparing for our futures takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. And I'm kind of scared for my spring 2020 and I tell myself I can do all of these things, but I know at the same time that it's going to take a lot of work. And I just want to know if you guys are feeling the same way in your college, in your career, with your extracurriculars. I'm like stumbling so much. I'm very passionate about this. I'm talking kind of fast. Are you guys feeling the same way? Are you guys feeling the same way of like, I don't have time to make money, or I need to make money, so I don't have time to get an internship, or I don't have time to do an extracurricular, or I don't even have time to sleep and take care of my body? Because that's how I feel when thinking about next semester. So like currently I'm doing good. I am avoiding burnout. I am putting myself first. But what's going to happen next semester when I actually need to deal with, okay, graduation's approaching, there's pressure. There's these outside pressures, and people would look at me now and be like, wow, you really don't have that much on your media career resume, your journalism resume, your work resume. I have some good stuff on my acting resume, but I don't have so much on my media studies resume type stuff. And at the same time, I'm a junior. So it's like, oh, it's been 3 years or 2.5 years or whatever, and you still haven't gotten stuff done. So it's kind of sad. And I also am not currently working. So it's a whole stress. And whenever people seem to do it all, I always tell myself, like, they have to be missing something. They have to be, like, missing out on sleep, missing out on socialization, or they have to be stressed all the time. Like, I think that it is possible to balance everything, but I don't think everything that's expected of us is honestly possible to live a happy and healthy life. So that's my tea. I really wish, we can change the structure, reduce the number of credits we take in a semester, or increase credits if we have a part-time job or internship, increase credits or just giving us the option of taking a class credit that teaches us how to get internships, how to apply to things, credits for doing extracurriculars. I feel like that would solve a lot of issues and stress. So, yeah, that's what I have to say. Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. I hope it was good quality. I hope you related to it. I hope I didn't sound too crazy or stressed, because that's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling a little better now that I vented and let it out. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this. And thanks for listening. Check out my other playlists on anything. I make a lot of vegan related videos. I make a lot of vlogs, some humorous content, and I have some good clothing hauls which you guys should check out. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. Check out my other podcasts, and I look forward to making many more podcasts for you guys. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video or podcast.